Hello, I'm Rick Stivers. I'd like to welcome you to Young Martin's Reels. This is part 2 of my house call to Chris's house to see what kind of reels he's got in his collection. So the next reel we're going to deal with is this Penn Greenie. What do we got here, Chris?
That is a 1961 first edition Penn Spinfisher 700.
Okay.
The very first spinning reel that Penn ever made. That's not the very first one. It's the first model. First model that they ever made.
Model they ever made. Okay. Well, let's see. It looks like we have a spare spool for it.
Yep. And it came that way. It came with 2 spools originally.
Okay.
When you got a box with that reel, that's the way it was.
All right. What can you tell me about this reel? That looks like it goes on here.
Is there a cap there?
There is one already here.
Okay, then you don't need it.
And now it doesn't go on. You have a spare cap in the box.
Yep.
Okay. I've been looking at these on eBay for a while. I almost bought one. You even helped me look at a few. And I almost bought one.
They're kind of hard to come by.
This one, they're pricey. That's what got me out of that one was the price.
The first one I ever saw was matter of fact, it was a fellow in Texas, a seller in Texas.
Okay.
I kind of got to know, and he had 2 of them, and he put one of his up on eBay, and the price on it was $750.
I'm thinking it didn't sell.
It was mint. I mean, it was nice. I've seen nicer though, but he got $300 for it.
Okay.
So I mean,
yeah, the ones I was looking at were devoid of full finish. Let's say
most of them are. Even that one is got.
It's got a little bit of road rash. It's been around the block a time or two.
It was the only reel of the Penn Spinfishers that ever had that green handle.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, that's how you recognize them. If you see that green handle, you know that's a 1961.
Okay. Now I don't see any of these weird trip things that we had on the Mitchell reels. Everything's internal on this one.
Yeah, and that thing will slam you too. It's got strong springs.
Okay.
It had a tragic flaw in it though.
Okay.
And it kind of, without opening it up, I'll explain it to you. This is the oscillation arm for the reel. For the that reel. The original one, and that one has the original one in it.
Okay.
Was a cast aluminum piece, and they were very prone to cracking. I have another one of these. I have 2 of these reels, and it has that one in it. And in 1962, they started putting the brass one in.
The brass one? I think it's brass, or is it bronze, or do you know?
It's bronze would be harder, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's bronze.
Okay.
Or what they used to call marine brass.
Okay.
I think that's sort of what it's like.
All right. What kind of gear ratio are we looking at here? Do you know?
Again, it's in the 3 to 1 range.
Okay.
But you're talking about a reel that is timeless. That's it.
What's it got for drag washers?
There are, I think, Teflon in it.
Okay.
And of course, you can upgrade and whatever, however you want to with them. The drag, they're very easy to take care of, and just, it's simple. The one thing that it has what's called a worm gear drive, in that pinion in that reel is about 3 inches long.
Okay.
And you get more teeth of the main gear intersecting with that pinion than just about any other reel you'll see.
Kind of like the damn quick reel is?
Yeah, exactly like them.
Okay.
Exactly like that. And some of the Shakespeare's, like that 2062 Shakespeare's a worm gear reel.
Okay.
And they're just timeless and indestructible. And they were the basis for reels that they made all the way through the 1970s. So it was a model largely unchanged in a lot of ways from 1961 to 1980.
All right. Anti-reverse. Yep. Got that click.
Yeah, got a good click.
All right.
It's a phenomenal reel. I can't say enough about them. Now I can show you a next model that Penn came up with as they continued to make these. The 700 became the 704.
Okay.
And this is a 704 with what they call I think that's the one with the swirl side plate. They call
Okay.
it the swirl side plate.
This looks similar to the one I was trying to buy.
And that reel, that one I fish with a lot. It's a great reel. I think I have 3 of those. And you can see all the spools with different line on it.
Okay, get them in the picture to see that. Okay.
The yellow is braid, and it works okay on it, as long as you back it with something.
Okay.
And
What's the difference between the side plate, obviously, but between this and the 700?
it's largely cosmetic. The big thing is the 700. If you saw it while ago, it had a stainless steel part down here, and then this front part. That was 2 pieces.
Okay.
And a lot of people didn't like that because one or the other could get skewed up, and then you're stuck with having to buy more parts than just one.
Okay.
A rotor. You had to buy that stainless steel thing, which was also the bearing retainer. So it was a great reel. That one, the first 700 that I got from a real repair person that had a shop in Alaska, and the reel had been used for salmon fishing for like crazy, and that was the very first one I got. And phenomenal reel.
Okay, now notice one other difference is the cup on this one, or the bump guard on this, from the 700 to the 704. It's got a metal cup that it sits in. On that 700, it didn't.
This one, the 700 does. This one does not. This one
has.
See, that's 2 pieces, and this piece right here. If you're spinning this, you'll note that does not rotate. That does not rotate.
All right, we're looking at a lot of differences here.
It stays in one place.
Okay.
And that is what you screws down and holds the bearing in place.
Okay, but I was actually identifying on this bumper guard here.
Mm-hmm.
This bumper on this one has a metal cup that it sits in, and this one it doesn't. But this is entirely different.
Yep.
There's no bottom in this rotor.
No, it's like I said, it's 2 pieces.
Yeah.
And that was the big change between the 700 and the 704.
Okay.
The 704, the cup is one independent piece, and there's a separate, bearing retainer plate that's also got a trip ramp on it that will trip the bail.
Okay.
Actually, I always thought that was the earlier 704. There's the other 704 that they came out with that are called Greenie. Has a solid more, and the paint is not as green as that. It's more of a blue-green color, and it has a medallion on the side with a fish curled on it.
That's the one I was bidding on.
All right. That actually is the earlier version
Of the 704?
Yeah, that's the later version.
Okay.
I thought it was reversed.
All right.
But I have at least 2 of the ones like you're talking about.
Okay.
I think that I own every version of the 700, 704 greenies that Penn made. There were only about, 5, 6 reels in that series. And I think I got every one of them. And I always went for the 704s and the 700s because they were the big saltwater reels, which is what I collect. So, but phenomenal reels.
Nice reel.
Now they came up. I can give you the next seed.
Okay, the next in the pen. This is the famous 704?
This is the first version of the 704Z. And the difference being black spool, black hard plastic, and other than that, you look inside that reel, it's identical to that green.
So basically, what we're looking at here is a Penn greenie that's painted black.
Yeah, and some little refinements here and there.
Okay. This is the one that has a new body now?
Yes, and that's
Let's talk about the body.
That's a story in itself, because I had to restore that reel, and this is the reason why.
Bring it over here.
Okay,
People can't see it.
you see that screw right there?
Yeah.
Look what the guy did to it.
Okay, you guys see that?
See how cracked it is? You can unscrew that screw out, and
Yeah.
you can really see it then. And you know how he tried to fix it? He put a drill right through there, right all the way through the
to
reel,
other side.
and was putting a bolt on it to hold the side plate on.
Okay.
And I fixed that screw will hold. Okay.
Yeah, I remember you told me you had, but then
I had
it was
it.
within a day or two you came back and said, no, I replaced the body.
No, I
was not willing to accept that.
Yeah, I wasn't. I could, because you don't know how much could have gotten in that hole
Yeah.
if you used it. And I wanted, since that's the only first edition 704Z, it was the only one that I had, and I wanted it to be good, and so I repaired it.
You repaired it.
One thing interesting about the 704Z reel is it's got side plate. It's got bale springs on both sides. That's the difference, and that thing will break your fingers.
Got some strength. Sounds good too,
I'm
doesn't it?
telling you. And I had to buy that little cup for it. That's why those metal cups are on there, because that thing is slamming. If you didn't have that cup on there, that bumper for the bale,
Yeah.
it would be crushed in a matter of hours. But that cup saves it. But can you get how hard that
Yep.
daggone thing is?
Nice reel, made in the USA.
Oh yeah, Philadelphia, made in Philadelphia. And I kept this because it's usable. I could JB weld that, put a little dab of.
But you won't.
I won't.
You won't. There's no way you'd ever use that like that.
But
That's why you replaced it.
Yeah. And there's a wonderful guy down in Florida. You've talked to him too. Mike and Kathleen Archer run it. It's called The Fisherman on eBay.
Yep.
He got me that housing was $10. And how much did the housing cost that you looked up?
$54.
Yeah, on Mystic Parts. So he saved my life more than once when it came to fixing reels that needed something. Matter of fact, that Chrome 498,
Mm-hmm.
he's the one who got me the axle shaft for it.
All right.
We're gonna look.
Here we got his next 704. This is a Z. That other was a Z also, wasn't it? That other 704
Yeah,
is a
there's
Z.
a Z too. And,
Okay.
As a matter of fact, there's two of them.
All right.
I'll show you both of them.
So this one is in much better condition. It hadn't been through the ringer like that other one that he had to mend. And this one he's put the Gomex handle on. He likes these handles a lot. He's
Well, you are tight. What's wrong with you? This thing's not working.
got the washer on it.
Oh, I know what it is.
Oh yeah, that'll do it. Okay.
Figure out what that was. This one will show you the original. Gotta get that. Did it come out?
No, it's right there. It's in it. There.
Yeah, I can get it out. This show you the original handle. All right. That's the one. That's the one with the original handle.
All right.
So you can see both kinds.
Yeah.
And you see how different that handle is than the one on the first edition.
And I don't have a problem with the original handles.
I don't either.
You just happen to like,
I just like them.
you like these big knob handles. So, gives you something to really grip on. Got big hands, so you need something big to grab
Fits
hold of.
right into.
There you go.
Your hand and just,
So, and these are both 704. So,
Mhm.
all right.
They're both, and then this is my baby. This reel I've had longer than any reel that I own. And I bought this in 1977. And I have used it ever since. And there's a video of this reel on Dennis's channel.
Dennis did a rebuild on it.
He just I gave him one to do a video on, basically. But this is the 706Z with no bail.
All right, 706Z. Now, what's the difference between a 706 and a 704? Just size?
No bail and size.
Did
Size
they,
is
did they
slight.
make a 706 with a bail?
No.
Never made a 706 with a bail.
But
So,
in the Z series, that's the biggest reel.
okay, so this was it. And now see, instead of the spring that we had on the Mitchell reels here, this has got a post.
Right.
So,
There's nothing under there. It doesn't have some of the parts interior to this that the 706 doesn't need.
no, because it's not going to trip a bail, so
Exactly.
it doesn't need any of those internal parts.
Exactly.
Makes it a simpler reel.
Like there is a rubber rotor brake in these that's not in that at all.
But
so
now-
it has fewer parts.
But they also didn't put a balance wheel on this. There's no balance weight in this to offset
No.
the PUM, because I can tell that when I rotate the handle, because
Yeah,
it wobbles.
shakes. It shakes.
Yeah, it's got a
But they never did. Yeah, they never
yeah,
put
it's got a
balance
pretty
on it.
distinctive wobble in it.
Now, I have one of the greenies, a 704 greenie, and it's one of the rare ones because, what is it, a 700 or 704? But it's the forest green, the darker green
Mhm.
color, kind of like the 700
Right?
that I showed you, and it it's a 700 what it is, and it has a solid rotor, and it was only 1 year they did that, and I have one, and that one is converted to pump, and it has a balance weight on it because the bail was removed and you got something on the other side
Right.
to put it in,
And
and it works beautifully.
right. Nice reel though.
But that
But
one,
again, that's one I wouldn't use because that. You'd think my finger's long enough to do that, but it's got to be able to get all the way out to there.
But I was telling you about that 700, the Daiwa 700C that I also got early on when I started surf fishing. Those were the two reels I had. Now the other handle, the original handle for that is this.
Okay. So that's what it normally comes with.
That's what it looks like. And a lot of times I use that one because I like that one just as good.
Okay, now I'm starting to see, when you bought this handle, did it come with all of this? Or did you acquire these somewhere?
What, the shaft? No, I will always keep the original
Right.
handle, and I will try and find either another handle or just the handle shank, which is this part.
This part.
And I'll use that to do my alterations on with other.
Because I
other
noticed you've
cone
done
eyes.
that a lot here. You've got a lot of
Yeah.
different handles that you. So,
And this one's a beauty. And that one I can use on this reel.
okay.
See? So all of the modern ones have that. I'm not going to change.
So you had this and you went looking for, you bought this, but then you had to go and find another handle for it. Another,
Right, and
To modify to do this
is
with.
the handle I use. I use this model of the handle to make that
okay.
because you could get these, and they're not cheap. They're about
I was gonna
anywhere
say.
from 22 to 28 bucks.
Yeah, they're not cheap at all.
And you have to hacksaw that off, and you gotta either punch out
Punch
or
it out
drill
or drill
out
it
that
out.
rivet.
Right.
And the first one I did was different. If you look at this one carefully, you can see how I messed it up. Thanks to JB Weld, I got it back together. But you can look at it and tell I didn't get it too great. But I learned that I could punch them out better than I
Better
could
than
drill
you
them
could
out.
drill it.
Yeah. And once
Okay.
I did that, I never had any problem again.
All right. And does this make the end of your pen collection?
Representative, yes.
All right.
Representative, yes. I have a Roddy by Penn that's unusual if you want to see it.
Sure. Okay, so this is a Roddy reel, but it's made by Penn. So what's the story? Any idea?
I was curious because I like Roddy reels and I have a number of them and they are solidly made reels. And if any of you want to see something really unusual on YouTube, go to search a name named David Roddy, just like the real Roddy, and look at his collection of Roddy reels and his collection of Daiwa SS reels. They are both the largest in the world. Unbelievable. So when I saw a Roddy made by Penn, curiosity got the best of me, and that's when I bought this one. And I fished with it. It fishes good, but
it's a big reel.
It's a good surf reel.
It's a good solid reel.
And it worked well. My son-in-law used it at the beach in June.
Well, it's certainly not a metal body, is it?
No. And I don't really care for these cheapy reel rod extra spools they give you.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like you remember the one you
the one I did on that.
Yeah,
I had that plastic one and it just shattered.
It'll do the same thing. Although this one is aluminum, but feel it. I mean, it's.
But at least it's aluminum. The one I had was plastic.
Yeah, but it's crappy aluminum.
Are you sure that's aluminum?
I'm not sure. It might be plastic.
I think it's plastic that's chrome plated.
I think you're right.
I think it is.
Because it's just not heavy enough.
No, it's not. So 3.6 to 1 ratio. This reminds me of that spider wire handle.
Oh yeah.
Reel that I had.
Got that crazy counterbalance.
Have you opened it up, see what it's like inside?
Oh yeah, I've serviced it.
So did it have a worm gear for the oscillation, or what did it have?
No, it's not that fancy.
Okay.
It's not that fancy. I expected it to have, but
No.
It's not much of a reel in terms of, but it's solid. I mean, but it's Roddy made by Penn in China.
I'm assuming it wasn't real expensive.
No, I think it would retail for just right at $40.
Yeah, so it's not a real expensive reel at all. Because it's a big reel, it's a surf reel.
And I'm telling you what, you with that big handle like that, you can get some real pulling power with it. And we never hooked anything big with it yet, but I put braid on it, I think.
Yep, it's got braid on it.
And you can flip it manually too, I'm pretty sure.
And it has a lot of the feel of that reel that I didn't like at the coast. That's why I was asking, but it feels pretty solid. It feels more solid
we had
than
no
mine.
problem with it. I was sort of amazed because I thought, I don't know. But worked well. Anti-reverse is good. I mean, it's got a good anti-reverse on it.
Okay.
And it has an override.
It has Chris's big thing is that override.
That I will not usually have. I don't think I have, but maybe one.
It's certainly not an instant override.
No,
of course,
no.
None of the reels that we've dealt with today have an instant override. Not one.
No.
So.
Because none of them have a anti-reverse clutch in them.
No.
Not a one.
None.
Well, the one we worked on off camera did.
Well, yeah, we did. We did work on a real failure, and it's still a failure. But I'm going to take it home and see if we can get it up and running. We're running out of day here, so I decided to stop trying to fix it today. And,
definitely stumped me. And
it's stumping me too. So,
but that's the other Penn. Now I have some. A lot of you on the internet will see Penn 703, 704, 705. I mean 103, 104, 105. They are the old Penn silvers that Penn made back in the 70s, like when Shimano was making the MLZ series silvers. The Daiwa silver's the most known, maybe. And they Penn made those. And I was told one time that when you saw a 105C, that meant it was made in China, but evidently that's not true. But they're good reels. It's just like many of the silver reels of that time, the paint quality on them's terrible.
Okay.
But I have some pretty ones.